Game number 56 for the Boston Celtics as the C's go from playing one top-tier team in the East to playing another in the Washington Wizards. Joseph Pavone here for CLNS Media, joined by my guest of SB Nation, Jake Whitacre, who's here to not only preview this matchup between the Celtics and the Wizards, but to also give us an update on what is going on in Washington in terms of John Wall and the rest of his teammates. What's going on, Jake? Thanks for joining me.
Oh, not much. Thanks again for not bringing Kelly Olynyk to Washington this time around. We appreciate that.
Yeah, man, we don't want any, Kelly Oubre, the other Kelly, to get too upset and start pushing him around again.
Exactly.
I was actually there for that game, Jake. That was insane, to say the least, man. Never actually seen someone get shoved that way at covering a game before.
Yeah, that was Kelly, has an interesting personality, but as soon as he got up, it was like, uh-oh, this isn't gonna end well.
Yeah, it's so funny. I spotted that. As soon as he got up on his feet, I just saw. I was like, oh, here we go. And I was sitting next to one of my coworkers covering the game, and I'm tapping him. I'm like, watch him, watch. And then he looks up and we just saw Kelly Olynyk just get shoved at the baseline. Oh man, good times in Washington.
Oh yeah.
All right, so the Wizards are playing so well recently without their all-star John Wall. A lot has been said from his teammates. I mean, you got Marcin, Gortat sending these subliminal tweets. You got Bradley Beal just flat out said this team is better without John Wall, which is not what you typically hear when someone talks about their all-star teammate. I mean, and Wall just been on the sideline just taking this all in. What's your take on the situation? And do you actually believe that this team is better without Wall? And what's going to happen when he comes back? And also, this is like a three-parter here. How long has his teammates felt this way?
Okay, so I think there's layers to it. I think the big thing to keep in mind is that the surgery that's had him out, I think that's been a big part of the issue. He just hasn't had that same lateral movement defensively, and he hasn't kind of had that same burst in energy, and I think that's kind of manifested itself in some of the team struggles throughout the season. He just hasn't been able to carry the team like he has in years past, but he's still playing like he's that guy. So, I think hopefully, kind of cleaning up the knee here will help with some of that and kind of get the team back to where they were. But I think, the team's success recently kind of just speaks more to that they actually have a sense of urgency now. They realized if Wall was going to play, that they really need to step up or they were going to be out of the playoff picture. And, I think thankfully, Satoransky has been able to kind of fill in as a guy who, he's not really much of a scoring threat, but he can at least keep the ball moving around to get the other guys who can score a little bit to, just get things going. So, I think as long as Wall can get healthy, things will be okay, and I think order will kind of be restored at some point. But if Wall is still, kind of trying to do what he did before and not maybe quite back to the level he was, I think it's going to, kind of continue to be that issue. It's, I hate to compare it to like the end of the Derrick Rose era in Chicago when like he was still trying to be old Derrick Rose while Jimmy Butler was kind of coming into his own. But, that's the dynamic hopefully that Washington can avoid. But it's certainly, there's some issues there on the back burner that have kind of come to the forefront lately, so it'll be interesting to see how they work that out.
Do you think that this is something that's just been happening recently? I mean, is it just like this year, or could this have been something that's been sort of, resonating the last couple of seasons?
I think there's always just kind of, stuff that on any team that, you kind of push to the back if the team is successful. I'm sure the Warriors have those issues, like Cavaliers obviously have those issues.
No.
But
issues in Cleveland? No.
Never, no. But yeah, so I think it's just kind of the standard stuff, but now it's just kind of, it's an easy kind of narrative to cling on to now that, anytime, your player that kind of dictates the tempo of the game and how the offense flows is out, everyone gets more involved and, the guys are like, oh, wow, this is kind of nice. But the question is, will Washington still look like this in 2 weeks? Can they maintain that level of intensity and ball movement? And even in their game on Tuesday against the 76ers, you could kind of see, things starting to slow down a bit. Teams are kind of attacking Satoransky more because he's not the same level of ball handler. And so it'll be interesting to see if this keeps up.
All right, so we're hours away from the NBA trade deadline. Speaking of Marcin Gortat, that's a name that's been mentioned throughout the rumors. Is that something that you think is going to happen at the deadline? And if so, what are some of the teams that have been mentioned surrounding Gortat?
Yeah, I'm really not sure because, like, the report said they want to get better now, but they don't want to give up a pick. They don't want to take on long-term salary. So, like, what exactly are they offering other than just, hey, does someone want to give us someone better than Gortat for Gortat? And that, that doesn't seem like a great recipe for success. I mean, the big name that's kind of always been out there is DeAndre Jordan, but I don't see that working unless the Wizards include Kelly Oubre and the first-round pick, and I don't think they can really stomach that considering how many first-round picks they've traded in recent years. I mean, if you did that, you'd be looking at Otto Porter as effectively the last first-round pick you actually used to draft a player, and you wouldn't have a chance to draft another one until 2019. That doesn't seem like a great recipe for team building. So, maybe if the Clippers come down on the price, something happens there, but considering they just extended Lou Williams, I don't think they're really desperate to get rid of him.
This edition of the Celtics pregame report is brought to you by SeatGeek. Head over to SeatGeek.com and enter the promo code Garden Report, where you can save $20 off of your first purchase. That's SeatGeek.com. Use the promo code Garden Report and get yourself $20 off your first purchase. Jake, this is a team that was one game away from the Eastern Conference Finals last season. I mean, they handed the Celtics an L on Christmas Day, and we could see these two teams face each other next spring. What's it going to take for the Wizards to beat the Celtics tonight?
Tricky. We don't know what teams will be out there, depending on what happens. But I think the key, at least, is just for, assuming both teams can stay where they are. I think the big thing is just protect the paint. The Wizards have kind of been a lot more aggressive protecting the perimeter this year, and they've done a really good job of lowering opposing teams' three-point percentages, kind of getting the wrong players to take the wrong shots. But the trade-off is that they're giving up a lot more in the paint, so they really just can't let Horford get going, and they can't let just guys get easy penetration to the paint. I think if they can find that right balance, they put themselves in a good position. But Horford's just always been just bad news for the Wizards, so I'm not really sure if that changes tonight. But Jan Mahimi's been playing well lately, so maybe he can give Horford a go if he can stay out of foul trouble.
Do you think the Wizards are a better team this year than last year?
No. I mean, I think when they are at their peak, when they have everything clicking, they're better. The bench has been better this season. Beal has taken a step forward. Porter's been good, but on a consistent level, no. But, like when they actually have a game that they want to get up for, like the Celtics, I mean, we saw that they can be really good, but I just can't trust them to be consistently where they were last season.
Who wins tonight?
I'm going to go Celtics. I think the Wizards have really been riding their starters quite a bit lately with all the wall injury stuff. Beal's put in a lot of 40-plus minute games, and and I think it's teams are starting to kind of get some tape on the Wizards. So I think the Celtics will be prepared, and things could change because of the trade deadline, but my lean would be the Celtics win.
All right, he is Jake Whitacre of SB Nation. You can give him a follow on Twitter at Jake Whitacre. That's at Jake Whitacre on Twitter. And, of course, check out his stuff for SB Nation's Bullets Forever. Hey, Jake, I appreciate you taking the time, man. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of the Celtics pregame report. Make sure you check out the Celtics postgame show on clnsmedia.com. You can call in toll-free at 347-215-7771 after the game to get on the air. Or just like this show, you can listen to it on demand on the CLNS Media mobile app. Weekday shows air on the Celtics Newsfeed channel, on iTunes, Stitcher, and the CLNS Media mobile app. For today's Boston Celtics pregame report with Josue Pavone, this is Josue Pavone signing off.